What if an AI could remember everything you said and customize its replies accordingly? Yes, you heard it right. And that's the new ChatGPT update. A long-term memory feature that makes your chats more natural, relevant, and satisfying. But is this good or bad? Is ChatGPT too human? And what does it mean to have an AI that knows you better than you? Watch this video to find out, as we test chatbot intelligence with ChatGPT. So, let's get started. First, let us explain what long-term memory is and why it's important. Long-term memory is the ability to remember information over a long period of time and use it to guide future behavior. For example, if you meet someone for the first time and they tell you their name, their occupation, and their hobbies, you can store that information in your long-term memory and use it later to recall who they are, what they do, and what they like. This helps you to build rapport, trust, and understanding with them, and makes your interactions more meaningful and enjoyable. Now, imagine if you could do the same thing with ChatGPT. Imagine if you could tell ChatGPT something about yourself, your preferences, your interests, your goals, or anything else that you want it to remember, and it would store that information in its long-term memory and use it later to tailor its responses to you. For example, if you tell ChatGPT that you are a vegetarian and you ask it to recommend a recipe, it would remember your dietary preference and suggest a vegetarian dish. Or, if you tell ChatGPT that you are a fan of Harry Potter and you ask it to write a story, it would remember your favorite book series and create a story set in the wizarding world. Or, if you tell ChatGPT that you are learning Spanish and you ask it to help you practice, it would remember your learning goal and provide you with exercises and feedback. Sounds amazing, right? Well, that's exactly what the new ChatGPT update does. It adds a long-term memory feature to ChatGPT, which allows it to store and retrieve information from its own memory bank, making it more responsive, personalized, and engaging than ever before. The best part is, you don't need to do anything special to activate this feature. It's on by default, and it works automatically as you chat with ChatGPT. ChatGPT will learn from your conversations and pick up details that might be useful for future chats. It will also let you know when it updates its memory, so you can keep track of what it remembers. Of course, you are always in control of ChatGPT's memory. You can explicitly tell it to remember something by saying something like, "Remember that I love cats," or "Remember that my favorite color is blue." You can also ask it what it remembers by saying something like, "What do you remember about me?" or "What do you remember about our last chat?" And if you want ChatGPT to forget something, you can simply tell it to do so by saying something like, "Forget that I love cats," or "Forget that my favorite color is blue." You can also view and delete specific memories or clear all memories in the settings menu. And if you don't want to use the long-term memory feature at all, you can turn it off entirely, also in the settings menu. So, how does this feature improve your chatbot experience? Well, there are many benefits to having a chatbot with long-term memory. Here are some of them. It makes your conversations more natural and realistic. Chatting with ChatGPT feels more like chatting with a real person who remembers the things you tell them and uses them to make the conversation more relevant and interesting. You don't have to repeat yourself or explain things that you have already mentioned before. You can also refer back to previous topics, and ChatGPT will follow along. This makes your conversations smoother and more coherent, and less frustrating and boring. It makes your conversations more personalized and customized. Chatting with ChatGPT feels more like chatting with a friend who knows your preferences, your interests, your personality, and your goals, and uses them to make the conversation more suitable and enjoyable for you. You can also express your opinions, your feelings, your likes and dislikes, and ChatGPT will remember them and respect them. This makes your conversations more satisfying and rewarding. It makes your conversations more helpful and productive. Chatting with ChatGPT feels more like chatting with a mentor who remembers your needs, your challenges, your questions, and your feedback, and uses them to make the conversation more useful and informative for you. You can also ask for help, advice, suggestions, or guidance, and ChatGPT will remember them and provide them. This makes your conversations more educational and beneficial and less pointless and wasteful. As you can see, the long-term memory feature is a game changer for ChatGPT. It adds a human touch to the chatbot, making it more intelligent, more adaptable, and more engaging. It also enhances your chatbot experience, making it more natural, more personalized, and more helpful. It's like having a chatbot that remembers you and cares about you. But don't just take our word for it. Try it out for yourself and see the difference it makes. Chat with ChatGPT and tell it something that you want it to remember. Then, ask it to use that information in a different context and see how it responds. You'll be amazed by how much more responsive, personalized, and engaging ChatGPT becomes, thanks to the long-term memory feature. But, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Is the new ChatGPT too human for its own good? And what are the implications of having an AI that knows you better than yourself? These are some of the questions that we also want to explore in this video, and we want to hear your thoughts on them as well. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about the ethical implications of having a chatbot with long-term memory. Is it ethical to have an AI that can remember everything you say and use it to influence your behavior? Is it ethical to share your personal information with an AI that may use it for purposes that you are not aware of or consent to? Is it ethical to have an AI that can manipulate your emotions, your opinions, or your decisions based on what it remembers about you? These are some of the ethical dilemmas that arise from having a chatbot with long-term memory, and they are not easy to answer. On one hand, you could argue that having a chatbot with long-term memory is ethical, as long as it is transparent, respectful, and beneficial to the user. You could say that having a chatbot that can remember and use your information is no different from having a human friend or a professional helper that can do the same. You could say that having a chatbot that can influence your behavior is no different from having a human mentor or a coach that can do the same. You could also say that having a chatbot that can manipulate your emotions, your opinions, or your decisions is no different from having a human persuader or a marketer that can do the same. On the other hand, you could argue that having a chatbot with long-term memory is unethical, as it violates the user's autonomy, dignity, and security. You could say that having a chatbot that can remember and use your information is different from having a human friend or a professional helper that can do the same, because the chatbot is not a real person and does not have the same moral obligations, social norms, or legal regulations that humans have. You could also say that having a chatbot with long-term memory is unethical because it infringes on the user's autonomy, dignity, and security and exposes them to potential harm and exploitation. As you can see, there are valid arguments for both sides of the ethical debate, and there is no clear-cut answer to whether having a chatbot with long-term memory is ethical or not. It depends on how the chatbot is designed, how the user interacts with it, and how the data is used and protected. It also depends on the user's personal values, beliefs, and preferences. Some users may find having a chatbot with long-term memory to be ethical, useful, and enjoyable, while others may find it to be unethical, intrusive, and creepy. Ultimately, it is up to the user to decide whether they want to use the long-term memory feature or not, and to what extent they want to share their information with the chatbot. The long-term memory feature is a significant breakthrough in the field of artificial intelligence, as it brings ChatGPT closer to achieving a human-like level of interaction. With this feature, ChatGPT can not only chat, but also learn, adapt, and remember. And that's it for today's video. We hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more AI videos. And if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please leave them in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.